we're back, everybody. Please welcome our guest, Veronica Belmont. Veronica, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's so awesome to have you and to finally catch up after so many years. I feel like it's been forever. I'm pretty sure we've met. I just don't remember where and how.
I was trying to remember this too. I was trying to figure out also, I'm sure if it happened, there's got to be some photographic evidence out there
I'm sure.
somewhere on the
Definitely.
internet.
Yeah.
But if not, it's a pleasure to get to hang out here and talk.
You know, you just sparked my memory. So it was actually at a Microsoft event in Los Angeles that we last hung out, because I remember exactly this the Instagram picture that I posted. But this is like years ago. Like,
was it the one where we got the tablets?
Yes, the tablets.
The dinner?
Yes, the whole dinner. Like, they had this fancy feng shui dinner in this like really cool Los Angeles venue. I think it was at like a Microsoft owned building.
Yeah.
And then
That
we were
was
given
fun.
tablets at the end of the night. I remember.
What a humble brag.
Humble brag. We were
Yeah.
just given some like brand new tech that no one had.
And then they gave us back massages on the way out.
It was amazing. Best back massage I've ever had.
Best ever.
Luxurious.
So luxurious. Yeah, so I'm so glad we get to catch up. You know, I haven't really kept up on what you've been doing, just because it's been a crazy, as I'm sure you know it is for you. So what have you been up to lately? What's going on in your world?
Oh boy, yeah, I've kind of been off the gaming scene. That's kind of an area that's probably why we haven't caught up in so long. It's been a minute since I've really been involved in gaming stuff. Still working in tech. I work at Adobe now, actually full time.
Oh, that's awesome. I use Adobe all the time, like just as a side note.
Yeah, so I work on the Adobe Spark team. It's been super fun. I've been there for about 2 years, and also still doing Sword and Laser, which is the podcast that I've been hosting with my friend Tom Merritt. We're coming on 13 years of that show.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
congratulations. Yeah, it said in my little you know, the video we made that you said you've been in it for 10 years or a decade. So, but it's actually been longer. Yeah, almost 15 years. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's been super fun.
Yeah, congrats on that podcast. Where can people listen to it, just so that they know?
Yeah, swordandlaser.com. We did a couple of seasons of a video show that were on YouTube, but really the audio podcast is kind of like our heart and soul. So every month we pick a new book to read. We kind of rotate between science fiction and fantasy. And then we, of course, talk about it. We do a lot of author interviews. So it's been a pretty wild ride. We actually even put out a short story anthology. Gosh, I guess that was almost 6 or 7 years ago now. So yeah, it's probably my favorite thing that I've ever done. It's a blast.
Really? So I wanted to ask you about that specifically, because you've done so many different things in your career, you know, in gaming, in tech, in all these different avenues. And so the anthology was your favorite thing, or the podcast, just to be clear?
Just Sword and Laser as a whole. I think as an entity. It's been we have community members who have been with us since we first started way back in 2007. So it's really wonderful to see how it's grown and how the community has grown together and how many amazing books we've discovered. And we talk about video games too, because there's so much crossover between those worlds. So yeah, always finding new stuff to read and to watch and to play.
Nice. What was the latest book that you guys talked about on your podcast?
So this month, right now, we're reading Raymond D. Feist, Magician Apprentice, which is actually, it's kind of, there's Magician Apprentice and then Magician Master. And they're the first book or 2 books, depending on where you are. It's either 2 books or 1 book combined. And so it's the first couple of books in his Rift War saga, and they've been really good. They're pretty old school. They were written in 1982, so it's a little more like pretty. I don't want to say typical, but it's the kind of like fantasy story that you may have heard about. It's very Chosen One-esque, elves, dwarves, that whole kind of thing. But, you know, in a situation like we are in the world right now, sometimes you need that kind of book that's just like a warm blanket to go back to. And this is that for sure.
Oh man, like a good escape, something to
Yeah.
really take you to another world that isn't what we're experiencing right now.
Yes.
Oh man.
Escapism.
Yeah.
Escapism.
It's the best. So you also in the video that we look at together for you, I learned a lot in that video that my editor put together. But you're an aspiring erotica science or fiction book writer, or not? You want to get into or dabble in. Maybe you've dabbled in some of it.
Oh my God.
What's that journey been like for you? I'm just curious. What's it like?
That was like basically a throwaway comment. So I was watching that sizzle reel today for the first time and I was like, oh yeah, I did that. And oh my gosh, that project was so fun. Like I forgot half the stuff I've done at this point. It's been a weird career. But yeah, I used to do a show called Vaginal Fantasy with Felicia Day and Bonnie Burton and Kyla Caseby. And so we would talk about paranormal and sci-fi fantasy romance. And so I always loved to think that maybe someday I would try my hand at writing my own. Never got around to that. I did do NaNoWriMo a few times. Nothing on the erotic end of the spectrum, unfortunately. There's still time. There's still time. There's still a need. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And the anthology that you mentioned, just so I get the name so that people can look it up if they want to get it.
Oh, the one that we did for Sword and Laser it's pretty easy. It's just the Sword and Laser Anthology.
Perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Okay. So it's a very simple title. Good.
Yeah.
So you guys can look that up, of course. How have you been able to, okay, because you do talk about this and clearly you're aware you've had a very unique, diverse career.
Yes.
So what's it been like balancing all these various different gigs, these different industries that you've kind of popped in and out of? Is that something that you've always been good at, or is it something you had to kind of learn to navigate?
Yeah, I think learning to navigate was probably the key. I started, I had a pretty regular, normal production job at CNET way back in the day. And that was my first kind of like an entree into the technology world.
Right.
And when I went freelance, I left to go do a show called Mahalo Daily, and it was fun, but I wasn't really focusing on the stuff that I was super passionate about. So we were doing a lot of like pretty like how to learn how to play guitar or how to, learn how to be an MMA fighter, like really fun stuff. But I wasn't getting the opportunity to talk about video games or to talk about technology or like the stuff that I was actually interested in my own life. And so when I went freelance, those were just the projects I gravitated towards. So getting to do shows like Techzilla that I did for many years with Patrick Norton, getting to help viewers tech questions, and then doing core on the PlayStation Network, like all of these things, like I got to kind of dabble in all these different areas.
Yeah.
But honestly, eventually it kind of felt like, jack of all trades, master of none kind of deal. And I wanted to, I guess, settle down into an industry eventually. And so being able to be a product manager now for a product and a company that I'm really passionate about and love, I get that part out of my system. And then Sword and Laser, I get to do my geeky community, awesome, fun thing, every other week, every week, to get that part out. And then I get to play video games and I don't have to worry about people yelling at me for not liking them. So
right. Yeah.
That part's really nice.
That's awesome. And I actually saw that you tweeted, and I don't know if this is still accurate, but that you've been having trouble finding a Switch.
Yes. I cannot find a Switch, girl.
That's crazy. Because Kyle and my sister lives up in Nova Scotia, and she's isolated. She's actually been self-quarantined because she had a surgery recently for 3 months, but like it started in February. So she's actually been quarantining for way longer than most of us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I'm like, you need to get a Switch. Like you need to get an Animal Crossing. Like it'll help with, you'll have your friends on there. Like some of her friends were playing, and I was like, I need to get her a Switch. We managed to find one on Amazon, Kyle and I, ship it to Nova Scotia. So I'm just shocked to hear that you aren't able to grab one. What's going on?
I did the whole someone sent me the link for that website that like tracks availability across different, I can't remember the name of it now, but I signed up for that. And then they were on eBay for like, $500, $600. I was like, no. And then there are lights available, but I'm never the person that wants the light version of anything. I want like the most powerful version of everything.
And the Switch version that you can dock is always better. You can play it on your big screen, and I feel
I'm waiting. If it happens, it happens. If not, it's okay. I already feel like I'm so far behind on Animal Crossing in general that like,
Mhm.
how am I going to get into this? Like, what is everybody trading? Turnips? I don't
Right.
like, I'm so far behind. I'll never catch up.
Right. Was it something, were you a player of the original Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
turnips is new because I'm actually not familiar with the original
I don't
Animal
know whatever the
Crossing.
currency is. I can't remember
Right.
now. It's like
Okay.
something like that. Someone on the internet is screaming at us through their
I
computer
know, they're
screen right
like, "It's
now.
freaking this," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I don't have that
Um,
information. Sorry, internet dude."
I
Um,
know.
actually, if anyone in chat, finds a Switch available online for Veronica, do tweet at her.
Let me know.
Let
Please
her
do.
know. And of course, we're always looking for your guys' questions. So if you have a question for Veronica while we're chatting, send them my way.
Oh yeah, book questions are always fun. I
Book
love talking about
questions.
books.
Ooh.
Video game wise though, I've been playing, I don't know if we were going to talk about this, but
Yes,
I
I was
thought
going to ask you that question.
okay.
So perfect.
Um, I've been playing Surviving Mars.
Oh, I
Have you
have
heard of
not
this
heard.
game?
No.
Okay.
Do
So it's
tell.
super fun.
Okay.
I'm very much into like these kinds of, like Sim City or what's the word I'm looking for? Why can't I think of it right now?
Like simulator.
Yeah, like a simulator kind of
Yeah.
game, strategy simulator games. And so I just went on Steam. I had to disconnect my whole gaming PC setup when work from home started
Oh,
because
right.
my KVM switch didn't work with my other laptop, and it was just too much of a headache to get that whole thing set up. So I was like, I'm on my laptop. I need something that I can play on Steam on a Mac.
Hmm.
And I went to Steam, and the first like ad was like Surviving Mars. I was like,
Yeah.
what's that? And it's essentially you're colonizing Mars. And so
Oh.
you get to build like domes. You get to terraform if you get the expansion pack, and like mine for minerals and all these things. And it's super fun. You can do space tourism.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
the perfect game for me to just shut my brain down, like in this time of like craziness, and then
Yeah.
focus on something else for hours. So
Okay.
highly recommend.
I might actually check that out. I'm super into City Skylines. Actually,
Oh
a game
yeah,
that
I like that
that
one
Kyle
too.
introduced me to. He's super into like Civ, City Skylines.
Me too.
That's
Yeah,
me.
love those games, and I even played Sims 4. I got on it at a point,
Yeah.
but I was like, this is dangerous. I need to stop. But yeah, Kyle actually, Veronica, you can't really hear the discussion we're having, but she's talking about a game where you get to terraform and like build a Mars colony, right?
Yeah, it's like
Surviving
surviving
Mars.
It's
Mars.
surviving
Yeah.
Mars.
Right? Is that
He
it?
knows.
That's what it is. He knows.
Yeah.
Kyle, you need to get on
I
that.
was looking at it on Xbox. Remember, you were like, "Oh, this looks great." I was like, "I don't
It's
know
on
if I want to
Xbox?
do it. I'll do it on PC."
Oh, yeah, I guess it is on Xbox.
Yeah.
Huh.
Kyle says it's on Xbox.
Yeah.
Well,
On
dang.
Game
Maybe-
Pass, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe I have to buy
Or
that
was it Game
version
Pass?
too.
I don't know. I was gonna buy it. I was gonna try it out.
Kyle was gonna try it out, Veronica, and then he
Yeah.
didn't. And it was
You should.
maybe my fault, but
No, no, not at all.
But you should. Okay, we're gonna get on this game for sure after this. I have some time to kill after our interview.
Mhm.
Cool. So that's awesome. So we already talked about your favorite game or game that you're playing right now during quarantine. Maybe general question. What's your favorite game of all time? I know this is like the most hated question for all gamers, but do you
That's a
have
hideous
one?
question.
It's a hideous question. I know. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, I can. It. Come on, Naomi.
Okay, perhaps a general just list off some of your
Okay,
favorites.
I would
so
say
the
top
game.
5, no order.
Top 5, no order.
Okay, so Witcher 3.
Witcher 3, love.
Yeah.
Oh, nailed it already.
Nailed it.
Yep. I'm about 200 hours into that.
Whoa,
Yeah.
200 hours.
Yeah. Skyrim.
Good one.
Another 200 hours or so for sure. Fallout New Vegas.
Great. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a
one
dream
of my
list.
absolute personal favorites. I don't play it anymore, but I have to put it on the list just for sheer years that I put into it for my life. World of Warcraft.
Ooh.
For the Horde.
Yes. Wow. Well, no, I'm saying wow, but also Kyle is a huge WoW fan.
Yeah.
But your Alliance.
Yeah, well, because I have to play Paladin. That's why.
See, he has a good reason.
Nobody has to play Paladin.
Yeah, nobody has to play Paladin.
Yeah, they do. You don't know me.
And then, okay, I think I need one more.
Yeah, one
I'm going
more.
to say Ocarina of Time.
Oh, okay, that's where it landed for me. Yeah, Ocarina of Time
Yeah.
is the perfect bookend because that's the one for me where I like played it twice on the 3DS over and over. That was the first time I played it. I didn't have the consoles to play it up until that point. So,
Hmm.
man, that game's good though.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine a
I was console
remaster.
on that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Aw, Zelda games are the best. There was a question from Chad about your favorite book about a video game
Whoa.
or a book, like Mass Effect has
Yeah.
their books that are separate from the game stories.
Okay.
Is there a
So I'm
favorite
gonna
that you have?
be, yeah, I think the popular answer is Ready Player One,
Oh
because
yeah.
that is a book about a video game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually gonna be weird
Let's
and
be weird.
say, um, is that the one? I think it's Reamdy by Neil
Indie.
Stevenson,
Ooh.
which is I'm pretty sure that's the video game one. I've read a lot of Neil Stevenson, and sometimes his books are very long, and sometimes I get them confused in my mind.
Mhm.
But there's a video game world in that one, I'm pretty sure. But Ready Player One is so good. People hate
So
on it
good.
so much. They
I
hate
know.
on it, but I thought it was a great fun book.
Me too. I was shocked to see how it was getting hate because it was, something about the writing they said was more, not as, I don't know, high society or
Elevated.
elevated. Yeah, like
Yeah.
whatever the word is I'm looking for. Which I totally disagree. It's such a fun read. So many cool references to pop culture and the story, the way it ends. Did you watch the movie?
I did.
Okay. What did you think of it?
I didn't hate the movie either.
Okay. Good. I mean, I was here and there on it, but tell me
I
why
know.
you didn't hate it.
I thought it was super cheesy.
Yeah,
It was
definitely.
definitely super cheesy, but I don't know, man. It was fun.
Yeah.
I try not to be too judgmental about things that are supposed to be kind of it's a freaking movie about a guy like trapped in a video game. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what do
That's a
you
good
want?
point. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they also tried to make it more mass appeal for everybody and also for
Mhm.
kids and I think the trouble too with a game that have like with so many references to things having to get the licenses and all that, but they pulled it off pretty well. I mean, they had
Yeah.
Overwatch characters in it and everything, which is really cool. And my only the only thing that I was so hoping to see was, and this is spoilers for anyone who hasn't read Ready Player One, but hey, if you haven't read it yet,
It's outside the statute of limitations on
exactly. I
spoilers,
feel
I
like
think.
it's time now that you should have read it.
Yeah.
But the ending of the book, of course, they end up in Rivendell, right? And the Lord of the Rings, like
Mhm.
Elven Castle or whatever. And I so wanted to see that. I wanted to see that scene happen, and it didn't. And I was like,
Yeah. They
but that was
did,
the only
but I think
disappointment. Everything
that was
else was
probably
great.
one of those situations of not getting the rights to everything they wanted to get the rights to.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was a good movie and a really good book. Yeah,
Yeah.
it had me hooked the whole time. I was excited when they announced they were making it. Let me see. There's a question from Twitter. So I did ask
Okay.
Twitter to send in some questions for you. This one's from John at Fee501 first.
I know Fee. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I know John.
Okay, like personally or just as a fan? Okay.
I've known John probably almost the longest I've known anyone on the internet.
Oh, this is
Easily.
interesting. Okay, so
Easily.
he's one of your power users.
No, he's just a great guy. He's just
great
a
guy.
super good. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Well, I don't know. I have like some long-standing followers and stuff, and the industry term, and maybe this is bad of me, but I call it power users.
I think it's like someone's like, I recognize that name. You're like, oh shit.
Oh shit. We swore a ton, so we better pay up. We have a swear jar that we keep on this show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So his question was for me to ask you about your doggos.
About the doggos.
Yeah, doggos.
They are loving their new life during quarantine.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. They are, so I have two dogs. I have Bodega, who is a golden retriever yellow lab mix. And then I have Moro, who's a German Shepherd pity mix with a bunch of other things thrown in.
Oh my gosh.
Moro is crazy.
He's a crazy dog.
So funny. She's so funny. They're like, yeah, they're total opposites, but they have a lot of fun together. And Moro's still just a puppy. She's only a year and a half, so she just has the run of the house. But they're doing really well. Yeah, they're both big girls. And like large. They're very large
Large
girls.
dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, our
So,
camera just shut off. Hold on. Kyle's working
it's
on
back.
it. I think you guys can still hear me at least.
Yes.
The camera's back.
So she has a German Shepherd, Kyle. We are actually looking to
Yeah.
get, if we can, we want to adopt a baby German Shepherd if we can find one.
They're so cute.
It's so great to have a puppy during this time, you know?
She's not in the crazy puppy phase. I mean, she's a year and a half, so she's no longer a water balloon of danger.
Right.
But 3 of my coworkers have gotten brand new puppies in the past 2 weeks, like brand new puppies.
That's the best.
And yeah, I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. Oh, I that's why I just see so many people post about it on social media, and I'm like, God, I just want to do it. I'm gonna join the masses. Yeah, I'm just gonna become one of those people who's, you know, jumping on the puppy train or the, you know, baby
That's
animal
a train. I want to be on.
That's a train I want to be on too.
Yes.
Yeah, the puppy train. Okay, where did your love for games start? Meaning, like, what's your earliest video game memory? Do you have one?
Yeah. My parents were super supportive of video games from the start. They both worked in the toy industry.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So my mom worked at Coleco and my dad worked at Hasbro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we had
the
like
toy store.
Yeah. So we had like ColecoVision when I was a kid. So probably my earliest memory is like either Pong or Frogger. Frogger came later. But I had my Nintendo was like my prized possession. It was like unbelievable for me. I getting a new game was like Christmas every single time. Like Boy and His Blob, Paperboy, you know, what was the Battletoads?
Battletoads, yeah.
Yeah, Battletoads was wild. There's so many good memories. Commando. Yeah, so I played a lot of like original NES back in the day. And then I kind of graduated into PC gaming like when I went to college. But yeah, it was pretty much all console. I think I got a PS2 in college.
That's what I had.
Yeah, and and that was all like SSX Tricky. It was like my jam. That was like the only game I ever wanted to play.
Oh man. Yeah, I think for me it was like Spyro, Tomb Raider. Trying to think what else. A lot of Spyro. I played a lot of that game. All the games that came out for Spyro actually. And then I kind of got off the bandwagon, but that PS2 console had so many great games.
Yeah.
And did you ever play like Splinter Cell games or anything like that? Oh. Do you read Tom Clancy?
No.
Oh.
I never got into Tom Clancy.
Yeah. It's something my dad's really into, so I naturally kind of went into it, like just reading spy books in general.
Yeah.
I'm reading one right now called The Gray Man, which is pretty interesting, but written by somebody who writes Splinter Cell books. Side note, this total sidetrack. Diverted the conversation.
But yeah, gaming has just always been a part of my life.
Nice.
It was never a thing where it was like, oh, girls don't do that. It was just like, oh, if that's what makes you happy, that can be your special thing. And yeah, that was, and after I moved out to San Francisco, I started playing WoW, and that was just kind of the end of my life.
The end of, as it is for most people who get in that game. It's such a you just can get so lost in that world. I just live vicariously through Kyle, who plays all the time.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah.
I miss it, but I can't go back.
Hating myself for playing Classic.
You're hating yourself for playing Classic? Why?
I was like, I won't do it. I swear I won't do it. And then I'm level 60 rating Blackwing Lair. Like, it's
amazing.
Out of control.
So you say you miss it? Maybe you'll go back to it?
No, I will not. I cannot go back.
Oh, okay.
I cannot
go back. It's like asking a heroin user. It's like, you miss heroin, right? You're going to go back? No, never. Never.
No, I have no interest.
Yeah, you're not going to get me, Blizzard.
It's not true. She still has interest.
I have interest, but I can't.
I'm looking forward to the next expansion. I think it might be good. I say that every expansion.
Yeah. What was the last expansion I played? The last expansion I played was Pandas.
Oh, Pandas.
Pandaria. Yeah. So it's been a minute. I went back and I leveled up to like 110 or whatever the cap was, and then I quit again.
Yeah. Ugh, I mean, I get it. I think the last one I played, you were the one who was helping me through
Legion.
Legion.
That was a good one. That was a good expansion.
It was a good expansion for sure. I would go back to it, but it's just like somebody said in chat here, WoW swallows people whole.
It does.
It's true. It's true.
It does. I think I got another question from someone on Twitter here. Pickerot wants to know what you love about broadcasting. Well, I guess you're not doing it as much now, but I guess what did you initially really like about it?
Another longtime Twitter conversationalist.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. I just like having conversations. I just like chatting with people. And especially it feels so much more necessary now than even ever, to be able to connect with people. I did my first 2 Instagram lives on the same day, like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
I'd never done those before. And one of them was for work. And then the other one was just hanging out with my dogs on the floor of my office. And I was like, maybe other people want some like ASMR, like dog petting time. So I just went live and just like talked to my dogs, and people seem to enjoy it. So I was like, it's just fun to just be with people and have conversations. And a lot of my favorite like musicians and stuff from high school and college have been doing live streams recently. And so that's been really fun to just like, I never even thought to like follow them on Instagram or like look up what they were doing. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is, it makes you feel so connected and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you've learned in quarantine that you're just going to adopt from here on out, or has it always kind of been a work from home thing for you?
Yeah, well, I worked from home for like 8 years before I started as a product manager about like 4 or 5 years ago. So I have the setup. Obviously, I've got the podcast mic. I've got a pretty decent camera. So it has been, the transition for that hasn't been difficult. I think the hardest part is I really miss my coworkers. I miss the routine. I find it harder to work out from home. I miss going to my gym at work. So stuff like that has been a little bit of an adjustment. But yeah, we're fortunate. We're we have separate offices, my husband and I, so we're not like on top of each other all day.
That's good, because Kyle and I had to work out of one office. We had a 2-bedroom, and one of the rooms was an office for both of us, and we were both starting our own businesses from home. That's rough. Yeah, I get the feel like that's good that you're just bypassing that and making sure not to.
But it's been hard, and it's hard to see, a lot of people out there are struggling, and it's hard to not know when it's going to be over. But otherwise we're fortunate.
Definitely. Yeah, I think in tech, especially just in kind of what we do, working in tech industry, working in gaming, for most of us, we're pretty well, we're good with technology. We're good we can do our own setups. We know how to work things. So to make them to be able to adapt a little bit quicker. And I'm sure it's a struggle for some people who just aren't privy to that.
My mom has been like being invited to these Zoom calls, and she says that she just what does she do? She pretends like she can't hear anyone, even though it's working fine. So she'll be like, I'm sorry, I can't hear. I'm just going to drop off. I'll like reconnect with y'all later. I'm like, my mom's hacking the system. She's like those kids that like hold up a sign that says like reconnecting or something during their work calls. There's my precious babies now in the background.
Aw, the Doggos.
Sounds like dinner's here.
Yeah, they're like, we're hungry. It is dinner time for most people at this point, in California at least. Cool. So then what are some of the hobbies you've picked up now that you're in quarantine? Anything different? Or actually, what were your hobbies before quarantine?
Oh, all my hobbies are outdoors.
Yeah. Oh, I saw your rock climbing on Instagram.
Yeah, so I do
awesome.
a lot of climbing, hiking, those kinds of things. So that's been a little bit difficult to we're actually building a climbing wall
what
on the back of our house.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That is epic.
It's become a very popular like home build kind of thing for people who love like climbing at gyms. People are making home builds. So that's been our hobby, I guess, for the past few weeks.
Is that something you buy in pieces, or is it kind of you have to make it from scratch? How does that
You can do
I'm
it
sure
a couple
there's
different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some that you can like buy the modular parts. And then there's others that like we're doing where we're just doing our own build and then we're buying holds. So we're
Okay.
buying the little hand holds.
Yeah, and placing them how you see fit, or do you have to follow?
Well, we have a friend who's a what's called a route setter.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna take a picture of the wall. Excuse me. We're gonna take a picture of the wall, and then he's gonna tell us where to put things and what routes to set.
Dang.
Yeah, so that'll be pretty fun.
That's a good project.
It'll just be nice because like I said, I'm having a hard time working out at home like by myself. So being able at least to climb and have that motivation will feel good again.
Yeah.
Because I also do like weight training and powerlifting, and I don't have any of that gear here.
Right.
So I've been doing all like body weight workouts, which are really boring to me.
I know the YouTube like 20-minute workout without equipment. Yeah, I've been doing some of those myself.
I want to like them. I want to like them.
I know,
I don't
but you're
like them.
It's too repetitive. It's too, I feel like on that for sure. I have one last question for you.
Sure.
Maybe it's a bit of it might be hard to like formulate a full answer because it's kind of like out of nowhere, but you've been in the industry for so long. What's been your perspective on kind of how it's evolved? And you've always been very like quick to jumping on like the platforms. Like, I mean, you have your handles freaking at Veronica. Like you got on that pretty early, I'm guessing, to get that.
Yeah.
What has been your perspective on how the industry's changed since you entered it? I know it's a loaded question. It's big. Really, it's like a big question.
Honestly, I think like the democratization of content creation is the number one thing. I think it blows everything else out of the water. I mean, just the ability for everyone who wants to be able to have a live stream, to be able to stream their gaming, to be able to build an audience, to be able to monetize, to be able to like, that's something that didn't really exist when I was doing this. And it's really cool to get to see this whole new class of people just come up from the woodwork and be like, hey, I'm passionate about this. I know what I'm talking about. I'm excited. I have charisma. I can like build a community and do it with, very little overhead. I think is really, really cool. It's a crowded marketplace though. I think that's the challenge, is that there's so many people on YouTube now. There's so many people on Twitch. It's just like finding ways to stand out is a huge challenge for these folks. But it is really cool to see that I used to always say like the best thing about the internet is that you can always find your people.
Yes. And just it connects you with everybody who is like-minded.
And now I think that's it's so much even more true than ever. But there's so much choice. It's hard to figure out where to spend your time.
Yeah. And I'd imagine it's difficult as well to make a living if that's the thing you want to, that's all you want to do, is create content. But like you said, there is a space there. Like no matter what, someone will find your content kind of thing, and it could be a very small audience at first, but it grows, and that's kind of the beauty of social media, how this whole internet thing works.
And honestly, even if it never does grow to a super huge size, even if you never break a million or 100,000 or 10,000, like if you have a small committed community that's like willing to help you out or just being there, like that, sometimes that's like all you need.
Yeah, I super agree with that. Man, it's been so awesome having you on the show. I was so happy when you responded to my, I think it was a Twitter DM.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we got to catch up because, it's actually our second to last episode. And just to have you, thank you. Yeah, we've done 23 episodes. It was going to be 24, but we had to skip a week because of the quarantine thing. But yeah, we've done so many episodes, and just to have you a part of that has been so great. And I've just been a huge fan of your work since I started hosting, and was like,
thank you.
Who should I look to who does this already? And you were one of those people. So,
well, thank you very much for having me. It was really fun to chat and catch up.
Yeah, same here. And just keep crushing it out there. You're doing awesome work. I can't wait to actually quickly, I'd love to know what people can look forward to going on with you this year. Maybe where they can follow you and see the stuff that you do.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
before we wrap
everything's
up.
I'm not really going anywhere in the next
I
6
know that's the
months or
tough
so.
part.
But yeah, I think the main thing I
Podcast.
promote is really Sword and Laser.
Yeah.
We have so much fun. If you love science fiction and fantasy, or you just love talking about geeky stuff, swordandlaser.com is where it's all at.
Perfect. There you have it, guys. And thank you again, Veronica. Kyle, thanks for chilling in the background,
Yay,
chatting
Kyle,
WoW a bit.
that's me.
We're gonna check out that Mars sim for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna download that after this. Guys, thank you so much in chat for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We have our finale episode next week. Woo! Lots of surprises. We even have a cool sizzle reel we'll be posting to highlight all the cool moments from these past 23 freaking episodes that we've done with you guys. All of you guys who've watched the show, thank you so much again for tuning in every episode. I hope to see you next week. It's gonna be big. But have a good night and stay cool, stay safe. I'll see you guys soon. Next week on Tuesday at 5. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.